Good afternoon, Mr. Anirban Ghosh.
Good afternoon.
So on Sustain, a leadership talk series by Institute for Circular Economy and Sustainable Development Goals. Today we are all with Mr. Anirban Ghosh. Mr. Anirban Ghosh, the Chief Sustainability Officer of Mahindra Group, he is enabling companies at Mahindra Group to adopt sustainability as a way of business. He is a top management team member of Mahindra Group and the one who decides the direction of sustainable development at the group. And yes, he is the top 100 CSR professionals on the global listing. So, sir, it is our pleasure to have you here with us on Sustain today. We have seen Mahindra is doing quite a lot in terms of circular economy, sustainable development goals, and we have been seeing the comprehensive sustainability reporting from Mahindra. At the same time, you are also coming up with the electronic vehicles, and there are many new initiatives that are also focusing on turning waste to wealth. So we would request you to highlight some of the initiatives at Mahindra Group. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. If you've been a part of any conversation on circular economy, you would know by now that it is believed that a circular economy will enable resource efficiency, it will prevent pollution, that it is desirable, and that it is economically feasible. Question is, how did we get here? We don't quite make the connection between development and the creation of waste and hence the need for circular economy. And it is true that millions of people are moving away from poverty towards a better way of life, and as a result of which are moving from a way of life which is driven by scarcity to one which is driven by convenience, creating more waste than we've ever created before. So what's the urgency then? So the waste is getting created as it has been created for a very long time. Why is it suddenly very urgent? The fact of the matter is, because of this increased level of creation of waste, living conditions are becoming very, very precarious. You've heard of the air pollution problem. Usually we do not connect it to the landfills and we don't connect it to lakes that go up on fire. But landfills and lakes that go up on fire cause immense environmental damage. And the number of lakes that are getting polluted and the number of landfills that are getting created are increasing by the day, not just in number, but also in size. In fact, in Mumbai, the 3 highest points of the city are the 3 landfills of the city. And this is not a reality that we want going forward in future.
Yeah.
As we get more resource intense, the availability of virgin materials is also going to be at risk. Many of the elements that we are very familiar with, which are very commonly used, are soon not going to be available in their virgin form. Then we will be left to reuse what already exists from what has been used before. So these are the reasons why we urgently need to move towards a more circular way of life and get rid of the take, make, dispose paradigm that we have been used to. If we are able to do that, we will certainly be able to foster responsible consumption and production, which in turn will help us take strong climate action by protecting life on water, because we will not be contributing to the plastic patch in the Pacific Ocean anymore. And we will certainly no longer be contributing to pollution in the water bodies. In turn, we will also be improving life on land. To do all this well, and again, if we are able to do it well, we will create sustainable cities and communities. And we will be able to do so by using useful technologies, which will help create decent work and economic growth. So these are some ways in which circular economy will help the Sustainable Development Goals almost directly. Indirectly, it is fair to say it will impact many more Sustainable Development Goals. In this reality, let me share with you some of the experiments and opportunities that the Mahindra Group has seen in the practice of circular economy. It's fairly easy to get people to understand that we will prevent pollution by sending nothing to landfill. 22 factories, the program already yields almost 40 crores of value per year. And this is even before we've tried to ask the question, how much value can we create from the waste that is being produced in the factories? This is only by ensuring nothing goes to landfill and taking some alternative steps with the waste that we are not sending to landfill as of now. Let me share some examples with you. Used tires, go for retreading. They continue to go for retreading in many cases, but a lot of additional uses have been found. And in 14 locations from 175 tons of waste, more than 7 crores of value get added every year. Similarly, waste wood, which often comes from packaging. Once you open the package, the wood is usually waste. Once recycled, is creating more than 4 crores of value in the group at 17 locations from 1,723 tons of waste. I'm mentioning the number of locations and the amount of waste that gets created today because we are yet to reach 100% recycling in most of the materials that are being produced as waste. Therefore, trying to say that the value created is work in progress. This is all likely to increase. Similarly, from paper, more than 1.5 crores of value is being created by recycling the paper and using the documents created from recycled paper and the diaries and other things that are made with recycled paper. Hazardous waste, where we would incur a cost to dispose of according to CPCB regulations, now can be repurposed for energy in cement kilns, co-processing as it is called, and there is actually a net positive value that gets created from hazardous waste. Similarly, e-waste yields something like 62 lakhs per year, and one hopes that e-waste will help in generating more value going forward in the future as we learn to manage e-waste better. One of our businesses discovered that the scrap metal, which used to sell for very little money, can now be repurposed to make transformer cores. And this is a new business line for that business today, creating value in excess of 100 crores, even as we've just got started. Soiled gloves is another example of something that was classified as hazardous waste and had to be thrown away and incur a cost. Today, it is possible to declassify or to process it in a way in which it gets declassified from being hazardous waste and reuse the gloves at least a couple of times, bringing down the level of waste produced and creating value within the business. Saying which, there are new businesses that we're investing in. One is the responsible recycling of automobiles. It is estimated that responsible recycling of 15 lakh vehicles can create value of 12,000 crores in the country. You know, there are many more than 15 lakh vehicles that will need to be scrapped if we have to take all polluting vehicles off the roads in India. Similarly, conversion of food waste to fertilizers can save India upwards of 10,000 crores, and conversion of agri-waste to compressed natural gas can create value of 1,720 rupees per ton of CNG produced. And these are businesses that the Mahindra Group has invested in. Clearly, there is a lot of wealth to be created from waste, something that most industries have not given attention to, but an opportunity that exists right there under our noses. Foundry waste sand is another such example. foundries only around Mumbai and Pune, if we are able to use the sand which otherwise goes to landfill and produce sand which can be used for construction, a value of 15 odd crores, and only from foundries near Mumbai and Pune can be created. So what are the bottlenecks? If there is so much opportunity, why are we not doing it now? First amongst the bottlenecks is, of course, the way you and I deal with waste today, not just at home, but in our place of work. Segregation is not common. It is the exception rather than the reality. Even if we did want to do it, there would be issues of infrastructure, which is why it's very difficult to scale. And sometimes, even if the infrastructure exists and you and I want to do it, there are regulations that get in the way. But I'm happy to say that as we work with the government agencies concerned, many of the regulations are being modified to enable a circular economy. And as we move in this direction, we believe a robust circular economy where a lot of wealth gets created from waste will enable all of us to rise for good. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Anirban Ghosh. I think this is a wonderful approach and kind of benefits, not only in the terms of financials or economic benefits, but there are tremendous benefits like social, environment, and economic benefits coming together with this approach. So with this, I will take you to some very quick, brief question and answers, because there have been many people asking about following the zero waste approach, and they are even trying to do something in this direction. So my first question will be, do you think that digitization or Industry 4.0 have some role to play for a zero waste approach or anything into the sustainable development, specifically with focus on the resource conservation, recycling, and recovery?
You know, the amount of waste that gets produced in our country is humongous. If we have to make sure that all of it is processed, we will have to use the principles of Industry 4.0. And when you're dealing with a problem which is of this large scale, which is distributed, which requires a lot of monitoring, there is no way that you will be able to solve this problem without using digitization at scale. So therefore, for circular economy to succeed, we must use digitization and we must use the principles of Industry 4.0. Only then will we have a solution which will be sustainable.
And moreover, it will be easing out the lives, right? From the supply chain perspective, from the perspective of procurement. And then there are so many parts that are interconnected within the industry. So not only breaking the silos, but also for measuring the impact, not only for supply chain, but beyond that, rather.
Oh,
And
absolutely. There'll be a lot of sharing of data. You will want the databases to be secure. So using blockchain makes sense. So anything which is large, which is distributed, which is a big problem, you will need digitization and principles of Industry 4.0 to be able to succeed.
so even when I was presenting on circular cities, the concept was saying that municipalities are struggling in really coordinating with each other. So if they come on a platform where we are saying that how the circular cities can be made and managed digitally. So this is an exact concept that you right now shared, that a blockchain-based platform, then interconnected systems. Zero waste is such a wonderful concept of making a wealth out of waste. And you have also showcased the bottlenecks over there. Other than that, what are the other reasons you see that why the industries are not catching up immediately? And even with Industry 4.0, there is a lot of scope for the government offices, government departments also. What is the lag there? Why it is not catching up fast?
You know, so let me not talk about the government now, because the value that gets created from waste should drive uh, circular economy practices in any corporation, really. Because no corporation will turn around and say, no, I'm happy to spend money to dispose of my waste, but I don't want to create value from it. That doesn't make sense. So if it is still not getting going, the only reason I can think of is that the people who are involved in the business possibly don't know that they are throwing away money.
Yeah.
So, if somebody's been working for 30, 40 years, there is a way of working that is used to. You've been taught that a process produces certain kinds of waste. You don't call it byproduct, you call it waste. So what do you do with waste? You throw it away. And when you throw it away, if you're a conscientious person, you follow CPCB rules and you think you're doing the right thing. But if you realize that what you're throwing away can actually create value for you, and some of which can be directly used within the business. For example, I know that every paint booth produces paint sludge. Paint sludge is a hazardous waste which you throw away, and you actually pay money to throw it away.
Yeah.
But that paint sludge can be dried. You can create turpentine oil from it, which you're otherwise buying, and you don't have to buy that. You end up saving that money, and once you've dried it into powder, whatever you have to send away, it costs a lot less to send because it weighs lesser.
Yeah.
So there is value there, and just as we work very hard for efficiencies in other places, cost efficiencies, we must work equally hard, if not more, to recover value from what we were otherwise sending away. So even as people realize that, I would expect that this work would continue to increase in size and stature and scale.
And I think if even some of the organized approach, say for example, a life cycle approach, if it is followed right from the raw material procurement to what is going out of your boundary, I think this will ease out a problem, because we will start seeing the end of the life also very clearly. So that will help into the resource recovery rather than having an approach of waste management as such.
That's right. Actually, this is why we chose to use the phrase ensure no waste to landfill. It's very easy for people to understand.
Yeah.
Everything else automatically follows. If you don't send it to landfill, you have to do something with it.
Yeah,
and you end up creating value.
That's right. It would be great to have your message passed to the wider community, because Mahindra, and there are so many Fortune 500 companies even, if even they start following, I think they set an example. I think many others, like into their supply chain, their SMEs, their partners, their vendors, everything will start falling in line. So may I request you to share your message to the fellow industries and others at large?
Shalini, this is a wonderful area of work. You don't have to do it only because you want to do good for the world. Of course, it will be good for the world, but it will be great for your business. So if you haven't got started, all I would say is just get started, create the value, protect the earth, enhance your business. And whenever there is an overlap between planet, profit, and in this case also people, because in the disposal of waste, there are a lot of people who are involved and working in very unhygienic conditions. So you can actually enable a better way of life for them by incorporating them into the circular economy system. So recognize the value that you're throwing away, deal with your waste differently, get started, make a real difference to the world and to the business.
And for this, we have created a digital system also from Sanshodhan and e-waste exchange. So we will also be able to get into and then start doing on this. And with this, I would like to thank you for being with us on Sustain platform today. We would be, this Sustain is a channel which is being watched a lot more by people from the United Nations, the communities who are involved into the sustainable development, the business and professionals who are really willing to work into this area. I think an example from Mahindra Group will be enlightening them and will be helping them out to move ahead. Thank you so much for being with us.